Warren here for another episode of the Dr. Warren Show. So it has been a little bit of time since I've put something about. Sorry, it's been a while. I did get attacked by a flu or something evil. I don't know, it just really attacked me pretty good there. Had me down for 2 days, and then the rest was just recovery. So what we're going to do today for this video is talk about something really big that I was discussing with some people during that time where I was sick, where what I do is one of the things that really helped me make a comeback. So what is it that I do? That's what we're going to talk about here. All right, so what it is I do is make the body work properly. It's not me that's making it. You see, the body has an intelligence that was already put in it when it was made. And sometimes things can get in the way of the flow of that intelligence, looking around, checking everything out, making sure everything is the way it's supposed to be, like the foreman on a construction site, or the boss. So if you get in the way of that, well, other stuff is going to start falling apart because it's not being supervised. That's the kind of intelligence that we're releasing and allowing to run around the body and make the repairs that are necessary and put out the calls for raw materials that are needed. Let's say lumber, nails, cement, things like that. But for the body, they'll be different. Let's say, for instance, one type of cement, because there are many types of cement out there. One type of cement that the body uses is calcium. Another type is cholesterol. It's a patch type material. So a lot of these things are used in the building and the repair of the body once that intelligence is out there and running. So let's get into this. The best way to make sense of this is to pull out your phone. Let's see. Do I have anything here? All right. So when your phone starts acting funny, it's usually due to the applications and not the phone itself. So you don't try to go into your phone and reprogram each and every application, do you? No, probably not. Most of us are not app makers or programmers or really know much of anything about applications. Furthermore, know anything about computers. Now these things have gotten so advanced. So you don't try to go and reprogram those applications. What do you do? Well, logically, you reset the phone. Well, that tends to fix most things, right? Yeah. Well, what's the difference between that and your body? Yeah, you're saying that there's no mechanism to reset. But there is. You've got one right here in the top of your neck. That is called the atlas. That is the same thing as like a circuit breaker or the reset button for the entire body. So what we do is, instead of poking at the other applications, you can take those as symptoms. We then go directly to the reset, being the atlas, take a couple of pictures, figure out where that guy went, because everybody's direction to where their off switch went is different. So you got to calculate that. After that, you can then figure out which way it needs to go to get their system turned on. Now, here's where the magic happens. When your system is turned on, that intelligence that made the body is allowed to then flow. Now that's when the real healing starts. Okay, so what it's going to do is it's going to look for anything that's out of whack. So let's just say that you hurt your little toe when you're 2 years old on the carpet. You snag it. Now it hurts. Crying, But that was 100 years ago. So it's healed. No big deal. You even forgot about it. I mean, you were 2 at the time. How could you remember? But your body does. Your body still remembers that something happened to it long ago, and that was an injury. So now, let's say that after we got you adjusted, let's just say that before the adjustment, you were functioning, let's just say you were functioning at 70%. Let's say after the adjustment, we got you up to a whopping 90%. Whoa, you picked up 20%. So now your body, after the adjustment, getting the body to, or let's just say, getting that intelligence to flow, that's what the adjustment does. It allows that intelligence to flow. Now you're flowing at a higher rate. Now you're flowing at 90% instead of the old school at 70. So what's going to happen is the body is going to say, whoa, hold on, man. That looks kind of messed up. I didn't know I was that messed up. Well, that was back in the day when I fixed myself at 70%. Now I have the ability to fix at a much greater efficiency, a higher percent, that 90, right? So what is it going to do? It's going to say, well, let me fix this. Let me do this, this, and this. All right, these things are going to need a little calcium. I'm going to need a little iodine there for the tissues. You know what? I think I'm going to need a little copper in there also because those tendons seem a little weak. I need to tighten them up. So then it's going to tell you, go out and get these minerals through different urges and whatnot because it knows what it needs. It then talks to you in the form of urges, tells you, cravings, tells you to go out and get specific flavor groups because that's where these minerals are found, these nutrients. And then the body can then start healing itself. So that is that part. Now, the other part that I do is I talk about how to make sure you're united with the nutrients that you need. So essentially we get you freed because health is something that belongs to you. So now that your body is functioning properly, you need to know how to keep it up. We just took care of the electrical. That's just like when you go to the mechanic and you get a tune-up. They do the spark plugs and the wires and rotor cap. Man, that was a long time ago, rotor cap and button. Now it's ignition coil, spark plugs, right? So that's the electrical of the car. After that, most of us try to put a little bit of premium in there from time to time, try to get some good oil whenever we can, because you want to prolong that tune-up. Now, it's the same thing with your body. You want to prolong that tune-up. So what do? Now we've got to start talking about food, as we were before, right? Because that's where the nutrients are at. But then we got to talk about the really good stuff. We got to get into what are called microgreens. Microgreens are just regular old green, but it's smaller and it's packed with nutrients. And specifically, if you plant your microgreens, or you can buy them somewhere, they will probably sow the soil or the growing matrix with what's called azomite. That's a mineral matrix that's really good for the plant. Then the plant will go and munch on those minerals, and as a good middleman, he will fix them in such a way that it's good for you and that your body can then absorb those nutrients and start rebuilding the system. So that's the other side. We make sure that you have the knowledge necessary to maintain your health. Because as I said, that's yours. That's something that you shouldn't have to come to a doctor for all the time. It's something that's built into you. So we want to free you from that sickness plantation. We want to free you, set you free. Go, run, be free. Then we want to give you the necessary knowledge to maintain your health. And never mind these interesting noises my computer likes to make. So those are the things that I do. And of course, we're going to get more into it as the channel goes on and develops itself. So I hope that was a informative tidbit on what it is that I do and how we give you some of the knowledge that's needed to maintain your health. So you don't have to come back and look at me, because once the body's working, why do we have to mess with it? That takes me into one other thing. Infrared thermography. We're going to talk about that in another episode, so I'm sure this is getting a little long. But the big question is, well, how do I know if I have anything wrong with me? How do I know? How do I know if I need anything? Well, that's when you do the same thing. You take your car to the mechanic, they plug in a little device, they read the error codes. Well, got the same thing for people, except for it's non-invasive. So I'm not going to stick anything into you. We're just going to roll a little deal right up your neck, and that's going to show us what is going on in the nervous system. We're going to need like 3 different scans so that we can get an idea if the system is stuck. So we're going to show you that sometime. So it essentially shows us if the body is stuck in one of 2 different states. And I talk about this all the time. You know, you got your sympathetic, which is lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, and you got your parasympathetic, which is health and healing, all right? Rest and digest. So in order to have good health, you want to run that health and healing program or that parasympathetic program. That is the entire goal to what it is that we're doing. We're resetting the system so that we can get that health and healing program running. When the health and healing program is running, the body will then start to look for the necessary dirt or nutrients to then start rebuilding itself. So that's it. As a whole, I'm going to set up another episode so we can get into infrared thermography a little bit more, the system that we use to find out if you even need to be adjusted. You may not need to have any adjustment. Might not be anything wrong with you. Might be something else. So we'll talk about that sometime. So I've run out of things to say. We'll talk again next time. Till then, see, wale wale o.